Alright, so if you're listening to this, not only has Readout Productions reached 1,000 subscribers, and again, I thank you all very much, it also means that you are all completely crazy like ourselves. Because you have decided you want to listen to part 2 of Readout Productions and a humble collector read to you a isekai involving John Brown.
Yeah, we live in a timeline. Don't
We're
we?
still in Gettysburg, by the way, in this timeline.
This is about 10 minutes after we finish part 1.
Yeah.
So I have moved on to my second beverage of the hotel room evening, which is another Innocent Gun. It is a Caribbean rum cask Scottish red beer, which is the first one of theirs that I've had, and it is very good, very flavorful.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna be investing in Innocent Gun. Did you guys not know this was going to be in an Innocent Gun commercial?
Apparently so. They're probably not happy about that.
Good news is nobody's slamming on our hotel door. We have not annoyed anybody
Yes.
yet.
Yes. Yeah. It's big yet.
But we have found out that people that close the other doors leads to a vibration that closes out, that slams ours. So tonight will be an interesting night.
It will indeed.
There's a story I was once told that in this hotel room that there's a lady that comes in, a ghost that comes into these hotel rooms and swaps the shoes around.
Well, that sounds really annoying.
Sounds really obscure and annoying.
Why? What if she's one of those elves from like Holland, like the cobbler ones?
I'm just saying what I was told as a young kid.
Okay. I really hope if it does happen, I mean, cool, but like, I'm gonna know if they're my shoes or not. Like, I wear a size 10.5. I don't know what you wear, but
Same.
oh, okay. So we might not recognize, depending on how out of it we are when we wake up tomorrow morning.
So Connor, how have you been since the last time we talked?
Yeah, in the past like 30 seconds, I've been good actually. I made sure that our door was not being slammed on by our angry neighbors, and I've been processing a little bit for the first chapter. I'm very excited because I think we're gonna learn a little bit more about the magic system here pretty soon, which is one of my favorite things in a fantasy world. There have been really, really bad generic isekai that I have actually liked because they spent time explaining how their magic system works. So I hope we get that here.
Now, when we were down at the lovely O'Rourke's, where we had not only lovely's, I pronounce it wrong. How's it pronounced? I say Smithwick's.
Smithwick's. Either or.
Lovely Irish red ale, by the way. We were sitting there drinking. We started talking. He was getting me hyped up for this, convincing me to make a fool out of myself on the internet. And
I'm right here with you.
Anyways, when I was reading the initial caption I was comparing this to Rising of the Shield Hero. And I briefly mentioned that in the part 1 of this special. So for those that aren't familiar with Rising of the Shield Hero, the protagonist of that is a guy by the name of Naofumi Iwatani. And Naofumi is one of 4 heroes that is pulled into this other universe. Now, surprisingly, it's not by being killed.
Yeah, that's a bit different than most isekai.
He's reading a book, and he gets pulled in that way. And they also find out that the 4 heroes are from different universes, which is interesting.
Yeah, they compare like historical and political events and realize that they're completely different.
So, there's probably one that's like, oh, crap, the South did win. Okay, come on. We're talking about the Civil War. You knew I had to make a South Rising.
Is this a Turtle Dove book?
Yes. Pittsburgh is Stalingrad. That's a whole other story for another.
That was such an obscure reference. There's literally 3 people listening to this.
Maybe we'll read that if we get to 2000.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Oh, God. Please don't. Oh, God. Anyways, so back to the Rise of the Shield Hero. Anyways, so what interested me was that I realized that this isekai was going to be strongly about poking fun at slavery and isekai. Well, Rise of the Shield Hero has kind of made slavery isekai come to prominence because Naofumi buys a demi-human. What is she, like a...
Do we need to explain demi-humans?
No, I'm not going that far.
I can do it.
Fine.
Okay. So basically, demi-humans in anime and isekai in general They're generally part human, part some kind of furry animal, usually. Cat girls, for example, is mentioned previously in this isekai, and what Ayamani is.
Ayamani. Oh my god, you remembered the name.
Yeah, I did, yes. So generally it's like, imagine just a normal person, but with like cat ears and occasionally a tail, or dog or bunny ears and again a tail. That's what a demi-human usually is in these isekai kind of fantasies, because that's just how that's just the rules. I don't make the rules. That's just how they are. But yeah, so apparently in this world, demi-humans are enslaved, which is a very common theme in a lot of isekai worlds.
Anyway, Naofumi is basically... Oh god, how do I go into the plot of Rise of Shielder? So, my channel is doomed.
No, it's going in another direction.
We can't use... I don't think we can use the word, or else our channel is legit doomed. So let's just say that a certain female character frames Naofumi for doing certain things to her, and is basically outcasted and is given no way of income to fight these waves of demons that are plaguing this universe. So he is jaded, he is dejected, and he turns to slavery to help him out.
And now you forget why he turns to slavery, though.
Well, he has no money.
Well, he has no money, but also...
Well, I guess he has some money.
Naofumi's weapon that he's granted as being some of this other world is a shield.
Oh, yeah, he can only go on defense.
Yeah, he can only defend. He can't attack, even though later on in the same season, his shield gains the ability to do offensive damage, but whatever. But basically, he has a shield, and essentially he can stop damage, but he can't actually like kill monsters and gain experience to become more powerful, which is where his slave Raftalia comes in.
So he purchases Raftalia, who's like a... They call her by a particular name, that what type of group of like demi-human is. Point being that she is a raccoon demon, demi-human.
Yeah, not demon.
They give her a different name, but she's a raccoon demi-human. And he purchases her, and she's really young. She's only like 10 years old, like when they buy her. And this is when things get a little awkward if you're not an anime fan and you don't drink as many ales as we do. So he trains Raftalia to work her way up to be a good swordsmaster. So Raftalia can be Naofumi's offense in a sense, because he can only do defense. Well, the plot goes with these demi-humans that work with the heroes, that as they power up, they literally age.
Yeah. I always forget that that's the... I haven't seen the first couple episodes since it aired.
Thus far in season 1, it's played pretty straight.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's played one-sided.
Yeah.
So anyways, Raftalia ends up growing up, but very quickly, and she ends up having feelings for Naofumi, but Naofumi does not return him, at least not in season 1. Now, there is a manga, a comic, it's already, I think...
It's finished, I'm pretty sure.
The light novel's finished. I think the manga's still reaching the end.
Do we have to explain mangas and light novels?
No, we don't. We're too far gone.
No, it's okay. I can do it. So,
buddy, we got to start reading at the 10-minute mark.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So, generally in Japan, you'll have like what's called a web novel or working novel, where you kind of like get all your thoughts down, and then it gets published as a light novel. So think about that as like a generic like chapter book that you pick up at a Barnes and Noble. Then that will get adapted into a manga, which is like a comic book. And then that will sometimes get adopted into an anime, which is an animated series.
And this is a system.
It is a system. This is just how it works.
Again, we're working this as a demo podcast, so if you love me to go into the process of all this, I'd be more than happy with Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, and how Hayao Miyazaki got that off the ground. But Humble Collector over here still needs to watch that, so we're not going to go into that. But anyway, so there's a process. Anyways, so the light novel's finished. Anyway, so there's a lot more. So thus far in the anime, the television season 1, they played it straight, the relationship. Because Naofumi realized it's like, yeah, you've like aged in front of me a matter of months, and it's awkward.
And he's obviously very weirded out by that, because Naofumi is not your generic anime protagonist. Well, he is, but he's not like the generic degenerate anime protagonist.
He's a decent person.
Yes, which is very rare in the isekai anime sphere, unfortunately.
Anyways, to bring this all back to John Brown.
Yes.
We get to the cover, and I'm starting to I'm reading the synopsis, and I'm there at O'Rourke's at the bar, and I'm just like, All right. Demi-human joining human from other universe. Kind of looks like that. What's her name? What's her name?
Ayanami.
Ayanami is gonna be John Brown's sword, for lack of better terms, and I'm just like, oh, I can start making the correlations between Rise from the Shield Hill.
Yeah, except John Brown caps a dude in the first 10 lines of the anime. So John Brown has some offensive capability here.
That is true too. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have 2 offensive weapons in this universe. Oh, and Raftalia becomes like the katana hero. I don't think that's much of a spoiler in Rise of the Shield hero, so it's pretty epic.
Yeah.
So
neither of us have seen
so
season 2.
John
so
Brown
it's
is actually
good.
gonna have 2 swords, himself and.
Well, she's a support mage though. We find that out in chapter 1 that she does a lot of support magic. So she's gonna be buffing.
Okay, so she's more Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite.
I haven't played BioShock, but I got the reference, so yes. But no, so something tells me John Brown's gonna be doing the slaying, and she's gonna be basically buffing him the entire time.
Okay.
Oh gosh, this is gonna make
So Cabbage Preacher, when you came up with a name,
Ayanami.
Ayanami. Did I say it right?
Hold on, I think.
Cabbage Preacher, please forgive me. We're pretty far in with the drinking, and it's not because of you. It's just because we're trying to have a fun night. I am mighty. Okay.
Ayanami is from
Ray
Evangelion.
Ayanami. Oh
Yes.
my god. Oh god.
We've been saying the wrong name for 12 minutes. Okay, it's Mighty. It's very close.
And now we have to explain what Neon Genesis Evangelion is. We don't.
Have
I told
time
you
for that.
we don't have time
And
for that.
I'm the one who keeps saying we have time
We do
for
not have
things.
time for that. See, I made a Gettysburg reference. The movie Gettysburg tied in. Okay, we're done talking. Let's just.
This is already a shit
Connor,
show.
start.
Okay. So chapter 2 is called John Brown's knapsack is strapped upon his back. And the beginning. These men are all talk. What is needed is action. Action! John Brown's remarks at the New England Anti-Slavery Convention of 1859. Today was a beautiful night, not like any other in Geimenplatz. The moon was shimmering, the crickets were singing, the cat girls were being liberated. You know, the unusual. Are we going to have the same lead in every chapter? I hope we do. An unlikely alliance was sailing under the cover of the dark. That being an alliance of former slave turned newly recruited abolitionist wizard Ayanami, and former radical abolitionist turned even more radical abolitionist John Brown. All right, Mr. Brown, as we have practiced, you still remember your lines, right? Asked Ayanami, getting closer to the target. Young lady, I may be an old man, but I'm not all talk just yet, replied John Brown. I'm still a man of action. I hope you're not all talk, otherwise I'm getting captured again, thought Ayanami, as she saw the mansion for the first time. Thankfully, her eyes were able to see easily in the dark, so she could observe the mansion clearly. It was a small one, a bit decrepit, but some renovations had been done to it recently. The building was only protected by wooden fences surrounding it and the plantation area. I like the small detail that cat girls have night vision. I appreciate it. For equipment, that was a side note. For equipment, John Brown carried around his trusty knapsack that he had filled with necessary supplies for travel. Food to eat, a fire starter to do what its name implies, a knife to stab slavers without wasting ammunition, and, the usual gear. Usual gear. Don't leave home without them. Ayanami seemingly only had a small bag. Thankfully, she knew of one trick that allowed her to carry much more. Extra-dimensional storage. Do we need to talk about extra-dimensional storage?
Are we going into Scott Pilgrim layers?
I mean, basically her bag, even though it looks like a normal bag, can carry more than a normal bag can carry because it has a pocket dimension.
It's bigger on the inside, like the TARDIS.
Yes, that works. It's basically the bag of holding.
No, I'm not explaining Doctor Who.
While she couldn't maintain a space as big as more experienced magicians, she could open extra space to carry most of the armor and weapons that John Brown had stashed in the cave. Halt! Who goes there? Shouted a lone guard, stationed in a guardhouse at the entrance. Seeing that the people approaching were a limping old man and a young woman, he dropped his defenses as he ran towards them in concern. Are you fine, sir? Do I look fine, boy? Replied John Brown as he approached the man.
Why have we made John Brown Southern?
Because the only accent I could do is Southern.
Well, he's very Northern.
I understand, but it's been a long night, and the only accent that comes out when I start talking...
We're not even at midnight.
Oh, I'm aware. It's not even... Oh, it literally just turned 11. Look, I'm gonna level you. The only accent I have is Southern. That's it. That's all I got.
We're sorry, John.
We're sorry, John. If it makes you feel better, at least my Southern accent isn't horrible.
Are we sorry? I don't know.
I don't know at this point.
I don't know how to feel.
Do I look fine, boy? Replied John Brown as he approached the man. I have many problems, boy, and one of them is with your vile ilk. With my, muttered the man before he was interrupted by John Brown silencing him. Not expecting to be tackled by an old man, the guard was unable to speak due to John Brown having put his hand over his mouth.
59. 59. He was 59 when he was hanged.
He's in better shape than me. Come on, young lady, quit gawking. We've got business to do, whispered John Brown. Mighty was staring in shock. Right, responded Mighty. She was surprised at how agile John Brown was. Ahem. Paralyzed. Stand still, you guarding prick. It's only going to get harder for you if you move. Gurgled the guard. He lost his ability to move his muscles. John Brown dragged the guard into the guardhouse and shut the door so that no one else would notice the paralyzed man. Do we need to talk about how magic works? Or are we good on that?
No, we're good. It's magic.
Okay, I'm going to pass that to you then.
This is all magic. Us recording at this time with how much we've drank is magic, by the way, folks. So that's what magic.
Friendship is magic.
Friendship is magic. Hiding in the dark and traversing the grounds easily with the help of Mighty's night vision, John Brown quickly entered the grounds of the mansion unopposed. My God, I am geeking out over the night vision. Of all the things, I'm
Look,
like, that's cool.
I've always said that Catgirls should have night vision. That only makes sense. And it's canon now.
It's canon.
John Brown made it so.
Thank you, Cabbage Preacher. Thank you for making it canon. Like, legit. Like, how many people have messed that up?
Yeah, really.
It's like, please use your advantage.
Can this be an anime? Can we crowdfund this?
Give it time.
I hope so.
I would say we'd crowdfund it, but, well, we don't necessarily have the funds for that.
And we definitely don't have the reach for that.
The funds is either gone to military items sitting on the table over there, or what we are presently drinking.
Yep, into the bottle or into the wallets of military dealers.
From the bottle to the bottom, filled by still. That is a Chris Christopherson lyric I've just sung. So, as I get readjusted, don't worry, I'll keep right on. Observing no other guards, John Brown and Mighty quickly made their way to their intended target. Passing through the main mansion and the farm surrounding it, the two arrived at a stone stairway that went underground. So, you see this as a dungeon, whispered John Brown, looking at the stairway. Yes, it looks definitely like one, replied Mighty. They send slaves to grind for items and gold in places like these when they aren't doing farm work. I've had to work in a place like this for I don't know how long to remember.
Wait. Do we have to talk about dungeons?
No, we don't have to talk about
No,
dungeons.
I gotta explain this. Because, again, you have an older audience. Mine is generally in their 20s.
They know what a dungeon is. I'm pretty positive everybody here knows who a dungeon is.
This is a video game dungeon, though. Or video game based on... So basically this is a world feature where, it's like an underground place and enemies spawn there, and you just go down and fight for loot, and that's just a thing. It's common in most video games these days, and yeah, apparently when the cat girls are not busy farming, they get sent down to fight vicious monsters in the caves to gain items. Okay, I'm done. I think that's enough background. I like my background. What can I say?
I'm looking for where I left.
You were at I'm amazed. It's 2 paragraphs.
No, what ended up happening was it's not that. It's just like my phone skimmed up and.
Oh yeah.
I'm amazed how people keep finding ways to exploit their fellow men even further, said John Brown with unconcealed disgust. Let's not dilly-dally around any further. I don't think you would know what that term means.
No, from now on, John Brown's catchphrase is, let's not dilly-dally.
Alright, so, there's going to be a meme tomorrow on Readout, today, tomorrow as I'm recording. There's going to be a meme.
Before this airs.
On the Facebook page with let's not dilly-dally. If you see that and you're confused at the time, now you know what I'm referencing. Moving on, he and Mighty went down the stairs, where they found a dark room that passed the slave quarters around these parts. It was cramped, dank, dark, and smelled as one would expect such a place would smell. Thankfully, common slaves that reside in places such as these were controlled 24/7 by magic that ensured their loyalty, which meant that they could play a crucial part in John Brown's plan. "Who's the thieves?" explained one of the slaves who noticed the intruders. The rest of the room woke up as well, though they weren't as concerned as they literally had nothing to their name that thieves could loot. "Yes, we are thieves, here to help you steal back what you have been stolen from you," declared John Brown. Mighty lit up the room with light so that the slaves could see clearly. "I shall not force you to fight, but if you wish to do so, then join me in storming the mansion of your enslaver in the name of the Lord." "But the Lord is the one who's enslaved us," replied one of the slaves. "I don't mean the Lord of this mansion as..." "Forget it," said John Brown. He gave, trying to give a serum. Thankfully, Mighty was there to continue where John Brown failed. "Brothers and sisters, you have nothing to lose but your change," exclaimed Mighty with passion and enthusiasm that infected the slaves in the room. "I was once crawling in the dungeons like you, but I've decided I should fight so that no one else needs to grind for loot that won't receive. Who's with me?" A couple of the physically capable slaves, and even the weakened ones, stood up with much ovation. Mighty took out the weapons and armor from the extra-dimensional storage armor slaves. Okay, for a moment I thought like the armory for the plantation was like in the same place as the...
That wouldn't be very smart.
Okay, so I was getting a moment like, wait a minute.
You gotta keep your arms and armor separate from the
Okay,
people
that makes
you're
more
oppressing.
sense. Being in that extra-dimensional storage makes more sense.
Which we've already explained, so we don't have to go into it.
Swords, spears, axes, mates, along with helmets, chainmail, random pieces of plates. Where did he get his sharps then? I'm assuming Brown is still carrying his sharps rifle. Which, by the way, as far as I'm aware, when I was there at Harper's Ferry, there's a sharps rifle displaying one of their exhibits. It says on the plaque that it's John Brown sharps. I don't know how true that is, but it says it's John Brown sharps. So I know where it currently is, possibly. So why could he not bring other sharps over?
Would it be too bold to assume that John Brown's ISEKAI cheat, you know, as we've discussed, the magical gift that he gets when he comes to another world, is his sharps? Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. He didn't get to pick it, but they're like, yeah, here's your sharps.
John Brown's hanging out with a cat girl just right. I don't know what makes sense anymore.
Like, I feel like, you know, they gave him the sharps as like, here you go. It's kind of like Jack Sparrow being left on that island and they give him like one bullet in his pistol. It's like that.
Well, that's for him to commit suicide.
Yeah, but they gave him a sharps and I'm assuming it's enchanted with like infinite ammo or something. I don't know. Because he apparently...
I wonder how he reloads this thing.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if he does. Like, we only saw it fired once. I'm assuming that he's apparently been here long enough to get loot, but not long enough to run out of ammo. So how much ammo did John Brown have on him? These are the questions.
Well, he was hanged.
He should have none, right. So obviously, if his sharps, he still has it, and it's still working.
Maybe, just maybe, a young Thomas Stonewall Jackson was sucked into this universe while Brown was being hanged. Because you know, Jackson was in attendance for the hanging.
I did not know that.
Yes, he was in attendance.
What was he doing in Harper's Ferry then?
He was in charge of some of the VMI troops, I believe. I might be wrong on that,
the
folks.
Virginia
I'm
Military
very drunk
Institute?
at this point. Yeah. He was in charge of troops that were over the guarding. There was like about 2,000 soldiers that guarded that hanging. Because they were worried that somebody was going to try to do something.
Free him? Yeah.
They were worried that somebody was going to pull a Will Turner and free him like Jack Sparrow.
Well, we're getting all the Pirates callbacks today.
Well, you opened it, so
I did.
I'm gonna finish it.
Oh, it's a good trilogy.
All right, you may continue where I left off.
Okay, where we leave off? Militia.
Yeah.
The slaves quickly informed John Brown about the layout of the mansion, the character of the owner, and about his personal bodyguard. He confirmed that he had enough people to combat the small garrison of the mansion, though John Brown would have continued on with the raid even if he was the only man.
True.
Then this is how we'll go about disposing that so-called lord of yours. John Brown quickly debriefed the dozen people that volunteered. Oh my gosh, he has a dozen volunteers again.
No, the joke is he only had 10 in the Good Lord Bear.
Well, he has a dozen this time, plus I might.
Yes, David Diggs is, Frederick Douglass would be proud.
Prayers, wishes, and tears were quickly exchanged as those left behind parted with the dozen brave warriors. The warriors left the dungeon, and the cover of the night began their first battle for freedom. 6 of the dozen, led by Almighty, who knew in detail about the barracks of the guards who resided in the grounds of the mansion, left to silence in their sleep so they wouldn't cause any trouble. That is a long sentence. Okay. The rest, led by John Brown, headed for the mansion. They stationed themselves in front of the doors so that no one could exit the mansion without them noticing. After a few minutes of waiting, the barracks squad reunited with them after completing the mission successfully. The guards were put to rest without alerting anyone, and now it was time to enter the mansion itself. John Brown raised his hand to signal that he was about to go in, and the rest of the warriors got ready to storm the building. He quickly lowered his hand, opened the door, and the rest of the team followed suit as they breached the building. Things were quiet. No one seemed to wander the mansion this late at night. Or so they thought, until John Brown was pinned to the ground by an assailant that moved faster than he could notice them. Bind. John Brown found himself unable to move, with a knife pointed right at his neck. He noticed that the assailants had animal-like features, similar to Almighty, along with wearing a maid dress that was all familiar to him. Okay.
This could be another Hayward Shepherd, oh god.
John Brown decided to give diplomacy a chance. Young lady, we are here to free you. In the name of the Lord, cease. All John Brown got was a monotone reply. Do not move an inch. Do not move an inch. Mr. Brown, she's under a mind control spell. You won't get through to her with words, exclaimed Almighty. The rest of the warriors were dozen to advance while there was another life on the line. I think that was a
dazed.
Typo. Dazed. I'm assuming that was a typo. The rest of the warriors were dazed. Or dying not to... whatever. Then what will get through, young lady? Asked John Brown. He was much calmer compared to the rest of the group, despite being the one that could have his throat slit at any moment. He'd faced death many times, so this wasn't all that stressful to him by now. Guess John Brown's just used to this shit at this point.
I mean, honestly, this guy's been through a lot.
This will... Light! Shouted Almighty. A light ball appeared right in front of the assailant, causing her to jerk back and temporarily lose her vision. Her spell also lost its effectiveness in this stunned state, allowing John Brown to grab her hand, holding the knife away from him, and deliver a punch to the jaw with his other hand. Did John Brown just punch a catgirl maid?
Yes.
Okay. Seeing that John Brown's life was not immediately in danger...
See, John Brown's very equal.
Yeah. He'll punch anybody in the face.
Yeah.
Was not immediately in danger, the warriors rushed to apprehend the assailant. Excuse me, I hope you'll find it in you to forgive me after you're back to a sober state, said John Brown while he got up to his feet. He wasn't in safety for long, though, as he heard the sound of a window in the upper floor breaking. Looking out the window, he and the others saw the figure of a man running away from the mansion. Quick, the bastard's getting away, shouted Almighty. The others, except for 3 people apprehending the previous assailant, rushed outside to stop the Lord from escaping. Thankfully, the man injured his leg while jumping out the window, meaning he wasn't able to walk properly.
Is that John Wilkes Booth reference?
Maybe? It's a subtle one if it is.
For those that don't know what I'm saying, when Booth jumps from the feeder box after he well, he's not dead yet. After he shoots Lincoln and he jumps down, he tweaked his leg by his foot got stuck on the rim of the box when he jumps down to the stage at Ford's feeder, and he actually sprained his whole leg, and that hindered his escape and ultimately led to his capture and, well, death.
Yeah.
Wow, that took way too long. Proceed.
You're good. You common bastards never hoard of private property, shouted the Lord in a heavy southern accent.
Now that works.
He aimed his crossbow, managed to hit one of the warriors chasing him. Seeing the warriors hesitate, John Brown shouted, Are you going to let the sacrifice of your brother be in vain? Stop dallying and charge. He quickly turned around the morale of the warriors as they ran with greater fervor to apprehend the oppressor. Despite his age, John Brown was still in great physical condition. He was the first one to catch up to the Lord. Damn you! Shield! Said the Lord,
God.
as he cast a shining shield that encompassed him and John Brown. They're about to have a Thunderdome battle.
2 men enter. 1 man leaves.
I'll allow you
2 men enter.
I'll allow you to take
1
over at
man
the end
leaves.
of your chanting.
2 men enter. 1 man leaves. 2 men enter. 1 man leaves. Look, a lot of people say Thunderdome is the weakest Mad Max film.
That's a lie.
It's a lie. The first Mad Max is probably the weakest. I'm gonna be honest. It's the weakest in my mind. The only reason is not much happens compared to the other three films. It's just a revenge film. It's a good film. It's where it started. But that's what makes the Mad Max franchise so great. You see, it gets better with each film. Then you get Road Warrior, which for the longest time I would consider was the greatest Mad Max film. But Thunderdome has such a variety that's going on. Maybe it's too much of a variety, but it has Thunderdome. Mm-hmm. And it does have a train at the end. And as you know, Connor, a train automatically means I like it.
Yes, Readout Productions is a rail fan, through and through.
You can also subscribe to Laurel Highlands Railfan Films.
Yes, Readout.
That's my sister channel.
Yes,
not a literal sister, as in a sister to my sister channel.
It's a secondary channel that Readout runs.
And you can watch trains. But then Fury Road came out, and it trumped Road Warrior.
Fury Road is the rare example in the modern era where the sequel is better than the originals.
I've heard Maverick might be the only other one, but I've not seen Maverick yet. Might go see that Saturday.
I've heard very good things about.
It's still at the 1 feeder, at the 30 feeder. So
okay.
So you may be wondering, what does this have to do all with John Brown? Well, folks, it has absolutely nothing to do with John Brown.
John Brown was just locked in a shield where he's going to mano-a-mano this slave-owning, apparently ex-Southern dude.
Which I don't advise this guy to fight John Brown. Even in real life, I do not advise
John Brown's kind of insane, and you don't fight crazy.
Yeah, this Brown has clearly proven throughout his, let's just say his fighting record and history that he's pretty good at it. He is going to take people down with you. So let me actually read and not waste your time. John Brown was taken aback by the shiny field, but only for a second. I see the slavers of this land have different tricks up their sleeve. Interesting. Very interesting. The Lord drew his sword and pointed at John Brown while laughing. You can't. You're in a goddamn force field. Stop being so calm. I've already started the spark of something great. Me dying again for such a great purpose would be no matter to me, replied John Brown. He raised his fist in preparation for a fight. Die again? You like me from Earth? Exclaimed the Lord in shock. Yes, from the United States of America, to be more exact. I'm from that too. Don't do this to your fellow American, replied the Lord. I feed them, house them, give them work. What more do you uppity subhumans want? Stop being such a hopeless bleeding heart and come to your damn senses. One feeds, houses, and gives work to animals too. Yet what animals lack is freedom. When one treats men like cattle and steals their freedom, then it is inevitable that they raise arms against you to get back what the Lord gave them. They should just accept their condition and work hard to pull themselves up, dispel magic. The dialogue between Brown and the Earthling Lord was suddenly interrupted by his shield disappearing. The Lord was so frustrated that he hadn't noticed the fact that John Brown was only playing for time. Well then, whatever satanic dark magic you casted is no more. Your time is up, said John Brown. He ran towards the Lord, brandishing a knife he pulled out of his knapsack. No, the Lord received a personal gift from John Brown in the form of a stab, right to the face, with extreme prejudice. He collapsed on the ground, never to rise up or oppress another ever again. So, I want to point out, let me go back. So, this proves that there have been not just a few people that have been isekai'd into this universe, with the Lord being an
Seems
American.
like a lot of people.
A lot of people. I mean, this is probably most likely like a common American. I'm not expecting this to be some, like, very special person. And,
We would have gotten their name if they were important.
and it seems like they went on a power trip. It also seems like that that a lot of Americans, when they get transported to this universe, they go on a power trip involving oppressing demi-humans.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing, is we aren't told, and we haven't been told yet. Granted, we're 2 chapters into what could end up being hundreds of chapters of story. We don't know. But we haven't been told how time works between our world and this world. And what I mean by that is we don't necessarily know that the people getting isekai here now are from the same time period that John Brown is.
That's what was interesting. I was wondering first, like, is this like another Southerner? Because that'd be partly cool.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is this like a pre-Civil War Southern like plantation owner? That
or is this like just a modern douche?
Yeah. Yeah, for lack of better terminology, yeah. Well, that was what I was wondering if he's going to say something about, like, I don't know, NASCAR or whatever. But,
instead of getting isekai, I'm going to be like, yeah, they're going to start getting John Brown. That's going to be a new saying of mine. They're going to get John Brown, and nobody will understand.
No. This is too obscure. This is very well done, though, so far.
Oh, yeah, Cabbage Preacher, you have outdone yourself.
This is transcended shitpost to just art. That's really where we're at right now.
This is the coming down portion of our binging of alcohol, so we're starting to get very philosophical.
We're starting to get to the water phase of the night.
All right. You want to continue?
Yeah, so I'm starting with seeing their enslaver defeated.
Yep.
Okay. Seeing their enslaver defeated, the former slaves erupted into a cheer. Everyone quickly reorganized back in the mansion. Some of them dragging their prisoners in front of the mansion to make sure none of them escaped. I guess some of the guards were left. Some worked on burying the body of the one warrior who had been martyred, along with the body of the magically brainwashed slave that had died during the chaos. After praying in many different ways for those who had fallen and for those left alive, the group naturally...
So, wait, they're praying. There is religion in this universe.
But it's not Christianity.
No, but there is praying.
So what's John Brown going to do about this?
I don't know.
I'm curious now. I feel like religion has to play a large part in the story, right?
Well, at least that means there's a way that Brown can try to relate what he means by the Lord to Almighty.
Right. See, we have room here. We can explore.
We're having fun with your lore.
I love world building. I love world building. I'm a nerd. So, understanding what the religions are in this world, kind of like what's going on here, we could see if John Brown, maybe there is an overall creator kind of God that John Brown could relate to and be like, oh yeah, no, that's the Lord, just under a different name, it's like Steve.
Yeah, but Brown and Almighty have to find a way to communicate that.
Yeah. Now, people of the jury, I leave the fate of these captured men to you, declared John Brown, addressing all of the former slaves, numbering 25, that he gathered before him. Well, he doubled his army. You are now all free men, though there is no need for me to say it. You fought for your own freedom. You have all the right to use it as you see fit. One of the people in the audience, who had just fought, raised a question that everyone else had in their mind. Can we join you? That is your own decision. Those who want to continue the fight beyond this one mansion, raise your hands. Everyone in the audience joined in, raising their hands. Then it's decided. To further our fights, we shall strip this mansion of everything that will be useful to us. Weapons, armor, food, clothes, food. Weapon, armor, clothes, food. We'll take all we can back to the headquarters. As for the rest, we'll burn it to the ground. We do not need someone else coming back here to enact similar suffering. If you agree with this course of action, then raise your hand. Everyone in the audience raised their hands, as does Readout Productions. And that is the end of the chapter. If you'd like to read the note there.
But yeah, the Cabbage Preacher has more to say, including a wonderful meme of John Brown literally pointing a gun at my face, which says, I don't care how many head pats you gave her. Face the Lord's judgment, slaver.
I'm downloading that to my phone right now.
Yes, please do that.
It is downloaded.
That might be another meme that might appear on one of my social media outlets and you'll be really confused about right now. And it'll all make sense if you subscribe to Readout Productions and A Humble Collector. Alright, so let me finish this up. I gotta get through this. Some extra historical context. Raids on plantations and the freeing of slaves were a real thing that happened during the American Civil War. One example is the raid on the Cubahi Ferry. In this raid, a unit of African American troops led by Harriet Tubman burnt down plantations along the river, took their inventory, and freed the slaves forced to work in them. This strategy denied the enemy precious resources, put the slave or plantation owners in a tight financial situation, and the freed slaves also joined the Union Army after they were freed. So that's telling me that he's actually taking inspiration from history.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying how close he's going to take it from, but he's definitely like, oh, I've heard this. This sounds like a cool idea to put in.
Yeah, no, this seems like a series that is written by somebody who at least has a slightly higher than cursory understanding of what happened. Or at least a slightly higher than cursory understanding of, John Brown and abolitionism in general. I understand we're only doing the 2 chapters.
Yeah,
for
we're
this
only
initial...
doing 2. It's almost midnight, guys, so we're only doing 2.
But I genuinely, if it was not this late, I would read more. I am very much like...
We'll see what the audience says. Oh, us personally, yes, we will read more.
Oh, absolutely.
But, doing videos like this, we will see what the audience says. Wow, there's still people coming through the hallways, presumably coming from more ghost tours.
Oh my gosh, it's almost
See,
midnight.
we're in like a triangulation of ghost tours.
Everywhere.
I got ghostly images to the north of me. I got the Sleepy Hollow to the west of me.
And here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, and I gave out the wrong compass coordinations. So I'm really confusing you all. So you don't know where we are.
You have the compass coordinates?
I gave them wrong.
Oh.
I didn't intend that.
I was about to say,
it just happened.
I know where I am, but I don't.
You're watching Fox News, Patriots, Legends, and Lies.
I was about to say, it started as South Park. When we started reading this, by the way,
Yeah, well, South Park.
South Park was playing muted on the TV here in the hotel room.
So that's just give you the attitude we had starting tonight.
Yeah, we watched the South Park after getting back from the bars to get in the right mood. And then here we are. But I would say, yeah, go read it. Like, if you have nothing else going on right now, go read it. Even if you have other things going on right now, let's be real here. Nothing you're doing is more important than a good story. Go read it. It's free. It's online. I will.
RoyalRoad.com. That's
admit,
what he's posted it on. Or he, she, they.
Whatever their pronoun of choice is.
Again, a Cabbage Patch Preacher. If you are for whatever reason listening to this, do understand that as much as we're probably we're laughing and reeling back and forth about yourself, we are enjoying it.
No,
we are enjoying
this
what
is
you're reading,
genuine enjoyment.
what you're writing. Yeah.
I will say it. Those of you who know me, I am a sucker for isekai. It is my favorite genre. Most of it is trash, so when something like this comes along that is a little bit different, I like it.
Well, Isekai is not my favorite genre because it has led to the downfall of Japanese animation. So I'm just kind of there,
Hey, there's still the rom-com slice of life. So I don't know.
Well, I won't watch rom-coms. So I'm a collector over here was telling me about we got about 42 minutes. We'll kill a couple more minutes.
Let's kill a couple more minutes. Yeah, let's talk about whatever.
So he was talking. So what I really want, like fantasy, particularly anime fantasy, would be I'd love a gunpowder fantasy. I'd love something to grasp like the drama of like a movie like Gettysburg or something like that. What did you recommend me?
So there are only out of the couple dozen anime that I've watched over the past year since I really got into it, there are only 2 that I've watched that would fall into that gunpowder fantasy kind of mold. One would be Alderman on the Sky, which I don't think you've watched.
No.
But basically the premise of that is kind of like this guy from this military school ends up getting put in charge of these units, and he has to fight this war against the Republic that his empire is fighting against. And basically he's charged by the princess to essentially fight a losing war, but lose it in such a way that they still have weight at the negotiating table, which is an interesting premise. It only got 12 episodes, never got a second season. It's a bit of an older one, but that has some gunpowder fantasy elements to it.
What's the one that you already told me?
Oh, the one I told you about a couple weeks ago, which, by the way, I was very intoxicated when I started texting you about this, which fits. It was called To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I asked you.
Yeah, To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts. But it's an anime based loosely on a pseudo-American Civil War kind of scenario, where basically the North and South of this continent got into this war, and the North decided to create these like human monster hybrids in order to win the war, which kind of oddly feeds into some weird lost cause stuff, I think. I don't know. But basically, during the course of the fighting, it's essentially determined that the more that these people use their ability to turn into these animals, beasts, whatever, that they are losing their humanity. And that if they don't find a cure for it, these people are going to completely lose their humanity, they're going to turn to monsters, whatever. So the leader of this group decides that they all need to die. And then gets shot by his best friend and left for dead. And then in the aftermath of this war, which ends with the North winning, as it does in our timeline, he essentially spends the series going around and killing his unit members before they can start going around and hurting a bunch of people. It's actually not bad. It's not great. It's a very mid series, but it has it's very mid. It's okay.
Mid.
You're really gonna emphasize the mid, aren't you?
MJF on Dynamite. There's a wonderful meme of him just saying mid.
It is. It's very mid. The first episode's great because it sets you up during the war. It explains kind of what's happening. You have the Not Union that's wearing gray, and you have the Not South that's wearing red, which I think is very odd. But also, halfway through the series, the Not Neo-Confederacy rises in the Western Territories, and they wear purple. So that's the thing that happens. But yeah, there's some actually decent large-scale battle scenes, especially in that first episode. And then the next couple after that, I think that, it's kind of like a Monster of the Week kind of anime for the first 6 episodes, where it's like, okay, we go to a town, there's this person from our unit who's lost their humanity, we have to stop them. And I feel like a lot of the first couple they encounter is kind of dealing with, like, different levels of, like, dealing with stuff from the war. Like, one of the ones that stands out to me is they go to, like, I think it's the 3rd episode. They go to this town with this guy whose monster form is like a minotaur, right? So he's, like, using material from the town to build this fortress because he feels like the war is still going on and the enemy's still out to get him. So I feel like there's some stuff that kind of, like, deals with the post-war kind of, like, trauma that the U.S. was experiencing. But then it goes really off the rails in the second half, kind of. That being said, it's 12 episodes. There's no reason not to watch it, you know?
It doesn't take too long.
It's 12, 20-minute episodes. You can watch it in an afternoon if you got nothing better else going on.
Afternoon, evening.
Yeah. Characters are fun. Yeah, there's some cool, like, stuff going on. They have, like, some air rifles. They have some revolver rifles. They use poison gas near the end of the season, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, get some nice poison gas going on.
They really jump forward.
Well, you do what you have to do.
What I was gonna say is, so let's not talk about a mid anime for a moment. What we're thinking of doing is, again, I don't know when this is. I don't even know if this is ever gonna come out. If this comes out, we're talking about doing a podcast, maybe doing it monthly. We've already talked about an idea for the first episode, and that would include comparing 2 different pieces of media. One is historically based, the other not so much, but is military based. Mm-hmm. So it kind of like crosses both of us. We're thinking about doing the 1989 Civil War movie Glory, and talking about at the same time the 2021 anime 86.
I'm very... Spencer threw this idea out. I was so excited for it. I love 86. I haven't seen Glory.
Yeah, we got to get him to see Glory before to do this. So that's like probably be the first official podcast episode. So this is merely just us testing the boundaries. And the reason I've explained is they both have a theme of having to deal with an oppressed group of people that are enlisted in this army to fight. Mm-hmm. That's like the theme between them. And then I can geek out all day about the 54th Massachusetts. And I can geek out about Matthew Broderick, because surprisingly not, I'm actually a Matthew Broderick fan. I know not a lot of people are, but I actually am a Matthew Broderick fan, and I believe that is his best film ever. I think that is his best film.
And I get to geek out about an anime that I actually turned Spencer onto.
Yeah.
I was like, hey.
So the idea is that we're both, like, he gets me into 86, I get him into Glory. It all works out. Now, before we wrap this up, I don't think we really did much. We didn't really, well, there was no point to talk about in the last episode, but in this one, what do you expect in the future of John Brown?
Of John Brown. So,
where does he and I Am Mighty go from here?
Well, obviously, they're going to go up against the established order in this world. So there's going to be some isekai assholes who are going to be very much keen on taking them down. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see the kind of repercussions of the fact they're leading this slave revolt, more or less. I think they're going to see a lot of demi-humans flocking their cause. I think they're going to see a lot of more, like, government crackdown. Like, I think we're going to see whatever the...
You really haven't got to see the government of this world yet.
We haven't. We know there's an emperor from the first episode.
Yeah, so this is not a constitutional republic like the United States of America.
Correct. Yeah, it's definitely not a republic. So I think at this point, we're going to eventually run into the army, and they're not going to be happy about these people upsetting the traditional order of things. And there's going to be repercussions of that. And I think that's going to be very interesting to explore. I think there's definitely going to be a lot more cat girl.
Are we going to get our Osawatomie moment where he just starts, where Brown just starts just indiscriminately murdering slave owners?
Hey, he's already kind of started that. I think that
is he going to go? What I'm going to say is he going to go to Old Testament on these guys?
I think that's a safe bet. I think that we're going to see him going, like, really hard murdering these slave owners. And I think that I might is going to be like, hey, maybe, like, chill just a little bit.
Because that's probably what got you killed last time.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the interesting dynamic here, is that Brown is going to keep being Brown. He's going to be doing this crazy shit. He's going to be going overboard. And I think I might is going to be functioning as kind of like an anchor for him. Kind of like, okay, she's my first follower, she's concerned about me, so I gotta, like, phone in my stuff a little bit. But John Brown's John Brown, so I think he's just gonna kind of keep doing what he's doing.
He's gonna make everybody get in the name of the Lord.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where it goes, for sure. I think it would be ironic if John Brown somehow got an army that all of the commanders are female. It's almost like a harem, but it's not a harem. I think that would be very ironic.
That's a harem, buddy.
Oh, it's definitely a harem.
That's a harem.
Yeah, but, like, they're like not at the same time. I don't know, but I feel like that would make sense in the context, because that's just how the rules of this world work.
Yeah.
We are definitely not done seeing female characters. I'm gonna throw that out there now.
Oh no! If Isekai have shown us anything, no.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, no. Overall, though, I would say I enjoyed reading the first 2 chapters. I would read more, definitely.
Well, we're going to read more. Us personally, we are definitely going to read more. It's gonna sound really dumb. I'm like all the obscure references I want to be made. That's what I'm more concerned about.
There's a lot of references you can make.
So I would love for Beat Your Bibles to come up.
That's so obscure. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, so basically, when the abolitionists would like funnel weapons to Brown, they would put them in boxes, and so nobody would look at them. They would label them Beecher's Bibles, so they just thought they were boxes full of Bibles instead of like rifles.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
And we know from this last
episode,
there's religion in this world. So there's obviously religious texts, right? So
I want that reference. That's like all I'm thinking about. Like, where does that reference come in? Because eventually he's got to get shipments. I want firearms in his universe. I'm a geek for throwing firearms into a fantasy setting and watching how people react to it.
I think that we're going to get firearms.
Oh, we're getting I think we're getting firearms.
Well, here's the thing. There's apparently so many isekai dudes from Earth that they're like they're a thing that
you're saying not one of them had a basic understanding of what how gunpowder and firearms work.
Right. So I'm saying that definitely there's some isekai dude who started like a firearm or an ammo manufacturer in this world, probably using slaves, because that apparently is just the theme.
Oh my god, could you imagine how if they would end up having like the raid a plantation, but like the twist is like, oh, these are the people that are providing you all the firearms.
That would be, well, at that point, I think if the Emperor and the Empire hadn't gotten involved at that point, that's where they get involved, right? You know?
It's an arms race.
It's an arms race then, yeah. So there's definitely a lot that could go on there. Yeah, no, overall, it's good stuff. I think there's a lot that can happen. We apparently have two more chapters already written.
Yeah, at this time.
At this time, and they've written 4 in the past 2 days, so probably going to be more, far more by the time this ever airs. And yeah, we'll just keep talking about it, keep reading it. It's good stuff.
And that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
What are you reading that from?
The Gettysburg Address. We're at Gettysburg.
Okay.
How else am I supposed to
I
end this?
literally thought you were taking that from the next chapter of the Isekai.
No, how else was I supposed to end this? We're recording this at Gettysburg. I was supposed to end it with a line from Gettysburg.
Oh, well, I ruined that. I apologize.
Yeah, wow. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you're listening to this, that means that we have reached 1,000 subscribers here at Readout Productions.
Ooh.
And I guess if we get to 2,000 subscribers, what did I say we were going to read or watch?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, Harry Turtle Dove.
Harry Turtle. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's
We're not. I'm saying this right now in part 2. We are not reading all of it. Unless we really like it, of course. I've actually not really touched Harry Turtle
That's a
Dove.
long series.
But we will do excerpts of Harry Turtle Dove if we hit 2,000. We will do some. We will do this reaction. I guess you want to call it drunk reaction. So if you want to see us read about Stalingrad in Pittsburgh, be sure to subscribe to Readout Productions, and also be sure to go over to a humble collector. He does videos on his World War I, World War II militaria collection. Be sure to check that out. I personally here at Readout Productions do more relating to the French and Indian War up through the American Civil War. So between the two of us, we cover most of American military history and other world military history.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna nod off.
What did we say we were doing if I had 1,000 subscribers special? Didn't we say we were gonna watch something or read something?
Not yet, but if you want to say something, sure. You
Oh,
want
I think we were gonna react to the first season of Girls and Panzer. I think that was the.
We said it off camera.
Yeah, off camera.
Episode.
Yeah, not here.
We
yeah.
will. Okay, so you've
not seen it.
I've seen it. I know what it's about.
Okay, but you haven't seen it.
So
yeah,
if you want to watch, if you want us to react to a show where high school Japanese girls on an aircraft carrier that is a city operate World War II tanks in a mock battle for competitions, let us know by subscribing to a Humble Collector. Not to me, not to Readout Productions. You have to subscribe to a Humble Collector. Got to get him to 1,000 subscribers, and we will react to an anime with Japanese high school girls operating World War II tanks. And there is references to Kelly's Heroes. I know that much.
There are. They're glorious.
Is really, really obscure, which is fantastic. So subscribe to Humble Collector if you want that to happen. All right, guys. It's almost an hour. We're nodding off. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Good night. God bless the USA.